Episode 140, Exercise. Negativity is a choice.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And we're live, concluding another week of the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. So this 140th episode is not about negativity, but how to rid yourself of it. And fact of the matter is that there's a rather simple technique to counteract the effects or to counteract negativity in your life. And I'm going to walk you through that. Today's episode is going to be, hopefully, shorter. I lied to you on Monday, I think it was, when things got out of control just a little bit. But we're going to try to, make it... or I'm going to try at least, because Stevie, my trusted co-host, is already sleeping. So I'm going to try and make it rather short today. So let's start with the statement that negativity is a choice, right? There's, you can, no, hold on. Let's take a step back. We have to start out in that we say that we all know someone, one of these negative Nancys, right? They all have, or that person is always nagging about something. They could be living in, a bloomy meadow of colorful flowers and bees and butterflies, and they will find, this one piece of whatever it is, like a stinky mushroom or something. They'll find it, and they'll nag about it, and they will totally forget the situation that they're in, right? That they're in this, impeccably beautiful field of flowers, and their focus and their attention immediately gets diverted to this one thing that just isn't 1000% right. And those are the extreme, right? Depending on the stress level, depending on, your lifestyle, depending on the amount of sleep you get, depending on the food that you take in, your mood can swing, right? And it's not only those factors. There are hormonal factors. There are a gazillion things that can, kind of push your mood south and let you slide into this negative mindset, right? The technique I'm going to introduce today might not be the turnkey solution for everyone. At least be fair to yourself, and more importantly, to your surrounding, which can significantly suffer from mood swings. Because, the aura that you send out has recipients, right? And if your aura is negative, not only will it lead to people starting to avoid you, right? But they will think of you as kind of like I said, the negative Nancy kind of thing, picking out the one thing that's wrong. So, right. We have to start out, to illustrate the key factors in your life, right? Number one, you're probably rather healthy. Number two, you're not going to be living in the streets, meaning you have a roof over your head. And number three, you're not in jail or whatever. And I'm assuming, despite the fact that a lot of us are suffering economically, and monetarily during this crisis, I think a lot of us are off quite well. So that being said, it's what's the thing that drives you into negativity, right? And that's kind of like removing the triggers from your life. That's, I think, the essential bit of it. So, first challenge is in this exercise is really to find out what pushes your buttons, right? What is it that gets you down that slide? For me, and I've been very blatant and very honest, not only to myself, but also to my surrounding, that for me, it's sleep deprivation, right? And I'm not talking about, like the torture type in Gitmo. I'm talking about, if I don't get my multiple sleep cycles, most of the time it's 2 per day, I get cranky and edgy. And I figured that out, very early on, and pushed it to a degree where even when I was with clients, I would openly communicate that, that I was like, okay, I'm going to head to the hotel for an hour to get some shut eye, and then I'll be back, at 100% rather than being edgy and cranky at 50% energy, right? So you have to be very honest to yourself, and this honesty will pay off because you're not going to piss other people off with your crankiness if you're if you take action upon this trigger being tripped. And that's the first challenge of this exercise, really to figure out, and don't try to do it yourself. Just ask your people who know you, when was I cranky? When did I get out of control? That kind of thing. So that's that. Okay. I made a check mark on my sheet of paper here. You choose your mood based on your surrounding, right? That's another very important thing to keep in mind. You can, it's about surrounding yourself with stuff that makes you happy. And I've been seeing a trend, visiting friends in a lot of places where, they have home decoration, if you want to call it that. It's from one of these mega stores. There's nothing personal about these homes, right? Maybe you have a picture in the corner hidden somewhere of their pooch or, whatever it is. And that's it. That's all the personal stuff that they have to it, that they have to their life. And standing in front of the microphone, really, I'm looking at our living room wall, which has, I don't know, probably 100 pictures in frames, of very special situations that we photographed. It's very colorful. It's got pictures of interesting people that I met during my journeys. It's got pictures of pretty much all of the family, and I just enjoy that. And then below that there's this big cupboard that we created ourselves out of old wooden apple boxes, and painted it white, and in it is a lot of our books, and all sorts of stupid memorabilia that really means a lot. Let me give you an example. There's, for instance, when the baseball that was in a Frosted Flakes box, I don't know, probably in the very early 90s, and that's sitting there because that reminds me of when I grew up in the US and tried my first set of baseball. Then we have I don't know, a gecko replica that I got from a friend in Australia, and then I have a lacquer kind of wooden tin can wooden, whatever you want to call it, with sands, with sand from the Maldives. And, it's starting in my early childhood, even, and going into even today, from all the special stuff we collect on flea markets and so on and so forth. It's just this interesting kind of home that has grown over the years. And that's insanely important to get you motivated, right? To keep you motivated, to keep you going, and to remind you of, where you came from, where your roots are, and all of that good bit. And so feeling good in your home, isn't taken care of by Calvin Klein bathroom towels or, whatever shit you put in there. It's about really interesting furniture that you find, interesting furniture that you, in hard labor and a lot of try and error have tried to rejuvenate, to give you another example. And that's how really you make a home that you don't want to get away from. There's all of these people constantly asking us, like, when are you going on vacation? I'm like, well, let me see. We haven't been on vacation for, I don't know, close to half a decade. But we just don't want to. We've got our home. It's just so beautiful and comfortable and cozy, and it's got so much us in it that we don't really enjoy leaving it. And they don't understand. Despite the fact that we get a lot of compliments to the interior decoration, everything, the people are not capable of tying the knot between, hey, this is so cozy and comfy and we really like to be here. That's what pretty much everybody says. And on the other hand, it's like, okay, why don't they leave their home? And that's just really the interesting bit of how you turn a house into a home is because it's you, right? So, and it's not Calvin Klein or Tommy Hilfiger towels, the most ridiculous shit that I saw recently. And so that's the point about, choosing your surrounding. And this surrounding just makes me fucking happy. I even have a hard time leaving the house to walk the dog because then I have to leave the house. Right? So that being said, surrounding plays a major role, and wherever you are happy, it should be your home, right? Because if you decorate it appropriately and you make it nice and cozy and comfy, even the smallest space can become home, right? And the home inevitably should become so comfortable that you don't want to leave it, right? You never want to leave it. So that's kind of like the point there in regards to the surrounding. For me, if for you it is, I don't know, sitting in a Starbucks anonymously in the city using ass raping their free Wi-Fi and getting your shit done there, observing interesting people. Hey, be my guest, right? It's the mood that you're in is based on your surrounding, right? And if you are in a shitty surrounding and don't spend any effort on making it nice, then, your mood is accordingly, right? The next part is really training to let go of negative feelings by laughing deliberately or at least chuckling. And this one's important. So for this weekend, right, we had the challenge that I mentioned earlier. So challenge number 2 is really taking one problem this weekend. Right. And well, the one problem is the trigger that gets you into the mood. So we already have the surrounding. So adjust that. When you feel negativity, become aware of it. And awareness is insanely important because a lot of us are not. All of a sudden you find yourself in a fight with someone. Let's not say a fight. Let's say an argument, right? You're having an argument with someone and it's totally going out of proportion, right? And at that point, right, when something like that happens, you immediately have to place a trigger that tells you, hey, hold on, something's wrong here. The person that I'm arguing with is really a nice person. We're friends and so on and so forth, right? And then, right, comes the point where you have to say, okay, shit, stop, right? Something triggered me to go down this negative route, to have negative feelings, which, make me into the person that I am right now, but which I'm not naturally. And then it's really about pulling the string and saying, hey, look, let's quit. Let's stop it here. And meet again, sometime else when I, have figured out what pisses me off so bad, right? So for me, like I said, sleep. For other people, it's food. For other people, it's lack of sports. I couldn't possibly imagine what the fuck that is about. But those people exist. Unicorns do too. So in that moment that you are aware, step out of the situation immediately, right? Regardless of how minuscule the negative thoughts that you're having are. So you step out of the situation and you bring forth into your memory something that really, really, really made you laugh so hard that you almost pissed yourself. This can be, back years, ages, decades, probably not centuries, but you get the point. That's part of the challenge, dig something up that really made you laugh and really so hard that, it's the most devious laugh that you've had in your life. Bring that back, put that on pause. And when this negative situation happens, you want to hit play. And you laugh and you laugh and you chuckle and you laugh. And an hour later, you're still going to be chuckling because you still have this memory on loop. But that's how you actually defeat these situations of negativity, right? So number one, figuring out the trigger. What gets you negative? For some, it's multiple triggers. For others like me, it's mainly sleep. Sorry, that's the nicotine clock. And so what you do then is, you really deal with it, with the negative situation, right? Once you've figured out what your trigger is, take that away. If you still go into that negative situation, step out of it immediately. That is your point of awareness. And then you just bring back that insanely most funny situation in your life. You laugh it off and then you re-engage and the picture will be totally different. It's worked for me because on rare occasions, I cannot kill the trigger. So, I bring back those funny moments and just laugh it off. Even, if it's in a board meeting or something, I'll do so in my head. But if it's if I can be alone, I'm just gonna laugh it off that way. So, in that sense, killing negativity. Negativity is a choice was the name of the episode. Sorry, is concluded, and I. Wish you a very good, fucking positive weekend. Go for it. Kill the negativity. And we'll be back on Monday with a totally brand new spanking episode of the very best podcast in the world. Again, I'm not going to leave you without bugging you. So if you find this episode helpful or any other, please remember to share it with people that come to your mind. Like this one, if you have one of these negative Nancys in your sphere of influence, send this episode to them. Might help. And I'm assuming you are already a loyal subscriber. If not, don't forget to visit www.theverybestpodcastintheworld.com. And below every episode and pretty much anywhere else, there's there are a bunch of buttons with pretty much every logo of every podcast subscription service out there. If you find one that isn't there, email theverybestpodcastintheworld@gmail.com and let us know, and we'll try and integrate that. So now I'm out. Have a nice weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Stay safe and Tune in back next week.